Are you feeling this purging type energy of the core wounds? If you are, this video, my friend, is for you, because this last week with the 1010 portal and the full moon energy has been an energetics that we're still in that is bringing up your core wounds. Those core wounds are really strong right now. And I've received countless calls this last week from clients, students, friends, and people walking the path of mastery, which I suspect is you if you're watching this video right now. There's 4 tips I want to share with you that I think would be really helpful for you as you're walking through this path of mastery. And you might feel like you're slogging through it, but you are a leader. And I want to remind you of that right now, that you are a leader on the path. And sometimes when you're breaking new ground, it feels like you're slogging. And I get that very much. So I just wanted to, number one, recognize you. If this is you and all your core wounds are up, or a really big core wound is up for healing and clearing right now, congratulations. You're walking the path, my friend. You are walking the path. So let's talk about these core wounds for a minute, because what I realize is that there are so many people that have one core wound in particular that's coming up for them. Now, obviously the core wound is different for everybody, but I want to share some examples with you of the core wounds that are coming up. And the reason why they are is obviously to be healed and cleared and integrated, so that you don't have to carry this wound or belief that is literally coloring your experience of the world, because you can't take this belief or wounding with you. It's kind of like having water color, like a coloring in the water. Even though it looks clear, it's tinging it a little bit so that it's changing your experience of the pure water. So now's the time that these wounds are being brought up for your benefit, and I get that it doesn't feel like that. So let's talk about these wounds for a second. What I've heard from people this last week, the wounds that are being brought up is things like business wounds, money wounds, I don't have enough, I don't know what my purpose is in the world. Wounds like I do codependent relationships and I want to stop that. Wounds like I don't feel wanted or needed. Wounds like I'm always doing it wrong, like I can never get it right with my partner. Wounds like my partner always treats me badly and doesn't understand me. So many different layers of these wounds are coming up, but what I want to say is these things do taint your whole entire experience. So if that's you, if you're feeling that right now, if your core stuff is up, great news, you're about ready to integrate it and do something different. So number one, if this is you right now, the first thing to do is take a deep breath and tap back into your heart and just breathe and remember that your core wounds are up and that it's here to be healed and integrated so that you don't have to run this program anymore. Again, this program operates in your unconscious, and so all that life can do is just bring you more experiences that show you that you have that belief underlying it all. For example, one person called me this week and they said, yeah, the guy and their life that they've been dating is just completely not on their same page, and that, you know, they always date these men that are not on their same page and that don't show up. And so ultimately, right, they're running a program that they're not understandable, that people can't get them on a deep level, especially men can't get them on a deep level. So as soon as they unearth that program and stop running it, then they can start to attract in the man that they want. Yet myself, like I have a core belief, I'll share with you, one of my core beliefs, core wounds is that there's not enough money, enough whatever resources. And so for me, I know that this shows up, and this is the second step of the thing that you've got to do in the process is stop looking at the poles of the wound. And you can imagine, and I love this example of not having enough because it just really works here. If you have a belief that you don't have enough, you either save a ton of money, do the investments, but then you can also have the opposite experience of, like, I've had the experience of looking for houses that I have no way I could afford, right? They're just completely out of the price range. And a person with a belief that they don't have enough money, only that person would go and look for houses out of their price range. If you didn't hold that belief, you wouldn't even be doing that dance. So number 2 is stop holding the flip side of the coin. Whenever you pick up a situation, you hold both heads and tails. So your goal here is to set the situation down and do a release of the energy of the belief. So I know you are an aware enough being to know your core wound that's up. So all you really have to do is just go, you know, I'm gonna set this down. This isn't working for me anymore, and I'm just gonna let it sit. I'm gonna detach from it completely. I'm going to release it, not even deal with it. And so if you did do that, if I set this coin down, if I'm looking at this coin and I'm just staring into it and it's so close to my face, I'm not gonna see anything else. So as soon as I set this coin down, I have this whole field of vision that I can focus on something else. I could focus on those beautiful flowers back there, or that brilliant crystal, or I could focus on my service in the world. For example, if I had somebody like this person who called me the other day about their relationships, if she were to set down focusing on not having wounded relationships or having a really healthy relationship, someone who's not focused on that at all is going to have an entirely different perspective on the world. Number 3, ask your consciousness to help you out. You are a really conscious being, and your fleshy suit is also really conscious. Ask your consciousness to help you solve this issue. For years and years, I tried to go gluten-free, and I would be really good about going gluten-free, and then I would go to Whole Foods and I would get those everything cookies that have everything in them, and the coconut and the nuts and the chocolate chips. They were so delicious, but they were full gluten cookies. And finally, after many years of being gluten-free but not, I talked to my consciousness and I said, hey, body, consciousness, energy field, let's not do this anymore. Like, let's not do gluten, no gluten. Let's just be fully on board with being gluten-free. Now, it took me several years to have a quantum moment. And this is what no one ever talks to you about with quantum moments, which I do believe in. I've had many of them myself. However, the secret behind the quantum moment is the years it took you to get there. I do believe in quantum moments, that everything can shift and change for you in a moment, because I do believe in timelessness. But I also believe that for many, it takes the moments working up to the moment, right? It takes all those little places where you were trying, where you got out of alignment, where you tried to shift more into alignment. It takes all of those things to lead up to the place where you are right now, my friend. And that place is saying, I'm done. I'm ready to have my quantum moment. I'm ready to be done with this way of operating in the world that's really an old program. It's an old belief. Number 4 is to make different choices. The truth is that I believe in law of attraction. I believe in vibration. I believe that energy is everything. I do believe that. And I also believe that if you want something different in your energetic field, you've actually got to make different choices. You've got to take different actions. If I drive my car down the same highway every day and I plunk in the same coordinates into my GPS and I never change it, I'm always going to end up in the same place. So I literally, if I want to go someplace different, I've got to take different actions. I've got to make different choices. For those of you who are in that relationship core wound right now, that means making different relationship choices. For those of you that are in money core wounds that are up right now, that means making different money choices. You know, and I talked to one woman a couple days ago, and I was sharing with her how I'm in the process of healing a core wound right now that's up for me, because we're all doing the same path together, us lucky souls. And I said, yeah, I'm making different choices and it feels really hard. Now, what I want to say is the only reason it feels hard is because I'm not used to making this particular choice. So for example, if you were somebody with, I'm going to use money because it's a great one. If you were somebody who's really great at saving money and you just saved and saved and saved and you're kind of like a hoarder of money and you never spend it on anything, especially not yourself, then if you have to make a different choice because you know that you're not really doing a good service for yourself, then it's going to feel uncomfortable. Same thing goes if you're somebody who overspends and you spend way too much money and you spending and giving and you actually have to save, that's not going to feel good either. So it's not because one's good or bad. It's not because one's better than the other. It's just you're not used to it. You are simply not used to this new behavior. So it is going to feel hard at first until you get in the process of doing something different. And that's really the key here, is that at the end of the day, you've got to align up your energy, but you also, you have to make different actions and choices. Just like the car, you want to go to someplace different, gotta make the choice to plug in something different to your GPS and then take the actions to go there. This time I know is a lot, but again, you are on the front lines. I can imagine that people who fought for women's rights and black rights and, you know, any sort of rights in the world, I can imagine that people that fought those wars felt awful. I imagine that it felt really hard at times. And ultimately, you know, you are helping break us all free from some bonds of belief slavery, if you will. You are helping, you are on the front lines, in fact, of helping us all break out of these old beliefs and systems and structures that we were all brought into that are the equivalent of a Santa suit. They're the equivalent of the guy that's dressed up in the velvet with the fur that hangs out at the mall. It's not true. There actually is no Santa, right? There's nobody that really brings toys and slides down your chimney other than probably you for your kids. You are the Santa, you are the master, you are walking the path of mastery, and right now is a pivotal time that you can actually shift and change this energy. Have your quantum moment because you asked for it. You asked for the energy to shift in a minute. I hope you like these steps. Like this video, pop a comment, let me know what's up for you. Share this with a buddy that needs to hear it, because I know right now a lot of people are in the slogging. So do something today to just remind yourself how incredible you are, what a brave soul you are for being here on the planet at this time, breaking through this big stuff and really helping heal it for everybody. Thank you for your willingness to do something totally different than you've ever done before. Here's to your brilliance, and bye for now.